Welcome back, everybody, to the Even Your Dynasty show.
We just got breaking news in.
So I'm going to just go ahead and we're going to pull the top 20 up. The way we did this, now this isn't necessarily any one of our lists in particular. The way we did this is we all ranked, our own personal top 20s. We awarded points for each guy, kind of like they do for like MVP voting and all that kind of stuff. We awarded points, 20 points went to the guy at number 1 point to the guy at number 20, and combined all our lists basically into whoever had the most points. That's how it got ranked. So we're going to go ahead and just pull that up for y'all.
You got it?
See? Yeah, I got it. Now that my stuff's working again.
Cool.
And that's what we came up with. So, obviously, we listed kind of all the defensive positions that they actually have played. So, like, Bryce hasn't touched the outfield this season. They did mess with it last year. With Devers here, you never know. Kind of, they may end up circling back to that one. But yeah, we'll start off with at the top. Everybody can see the list, so I'm not going to just like read through the whole thing. Bryce Eldridge, he was unanimous. All three of us had him number 1. Funny enough, I think I could make a case that there's 3 other guys that have a higher ceiling than he does on this top 20 list, but I also think it's impossible to ignore the fact that he's doing this all at 20 years old. And he is someone that's very unique to what the Giants have had in their system, with just incredible left-handed power. On the year, obviously, most of his damage happened in AA. He only played, I think, 3 weeks in AAA before he got injured. He should be coming back tomorrow, though. Rumor has it.
Yeah.
But on the year, he's hitting 266, 812 OPS, 10 homers, 21 extra base hits. He's got a 28% strikeout rate and an 8.9% walk rate. I don't have the season WRC plus, but I will say he had a 150 WRC plus in AA. So he was 50% better than the league average in a league that has been notoriously brutal to hit in. And he was just starting to get going in AAA, and he pulled his hammy. So, yeah.
I'm just happy he's back.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go too deep on Bryce. We all agree that on that one. This one, I don't think we were unanimous, but I think 2 of us had him at number 2 was Dakota Jordan. This is where it gets interesting because it's funny. All of us had the same number 1, the same number 6, and same number 7. Our 2 through 5s are all different, pretty much.
They were the same guys, I think. They were just different order.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, we had the same players, just different orders. And Dakota ended up coming at number 2. On the year, we'll go through his numbers, then we'll kind of talk a little bit about him. He's 22 years old. He's in San Jose still, hitting 302, 843 OPS, 10 homers, 31 extra base hits, 27 stolen bases. He has 70 RBIs. I don't usually care about RBIs, but I just want to highlight just how ridiculous that is this early in the season. 70 RBIs, 23% strikeout rate, 9.4 walk, 130 WRC plus.
Now, Dakota Jordan is a freak of nature, to put it lightly. He is a freaking unit. I don't even know how to describe him. His potential is so insanely high because he's got so many different tools. He's an athletic freak. I think if everything works out, he can potentially be a star. Like, he is a beast, and he's a super nice guy. He said what's up to me and Ricky at the game. So, but and knock on wood, Ricky can work his magic and get him on the show. But no, I'm very, very high in Dakota. I had him at number 2 on my list. I just think his tools and his upside is otherworldly.
Yeah. And for context on where Dakota stands with RBIs right now, the top 2 guys in RBIs in the California League where the San Jose Giants play, top 2 guys in RBIs last year finished with 90 and 72. The guy that came in second was 72 last year. is currently a top 25 prospect in all of the MLB with the Mariners. So just for perspective, how nice of a season Dakota's having. Personally, if I had to rank all these guys, I feel like he has the highest ceiling of all these guys in the Giants system. Just from a pure athleticism standpoint, from, showing off every single one of the tools you want to see. It's just going to be a matter of if they can, through the higher levels, keep his strikeout numbers down and really unleash his power potential, I think is really what it's going to come down to. He got off to a little bit of a slow start this season in terms of extra base hits and home runs. But he's really turned it on as of late. It was really a shame that they hit the All-Star break because he went on an absolute tear, I think hitting like 3 home runs in the last week before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Getting his total up to 10, which now leads the San Jose Giants, or ties for the lead for the San Jose Giants. So Dakota's got a ton of power. I think all three of us really want to see him up in Eugene like ASAP and just kind of see what he can do against a little bit higher level of competition, because he's just flat out dominated down there. And I would really love to see him get like up to 100 RBIs or real close to 100 RBIs, because with them having a little bit shorter of a season, it'd be super impressive to see one of their prospects pull that off. Not something we see too often with any Giants hitters.
Yeah. I just double checked in the last 3 weeks. I checked my notes really quick in the last 3 weeks. Dakota had 5 home runs and 7 doubles.
Yeah, dude. He's a beast.
I mean, when you're talking 30 plus extra base hits and then almost 30 stolen bases, just insane. I just saw Dan's comment. That's hilarious. Yeah. And, this is where it gets a little tricky. I personally, so I had Dakota 2, I had Bo Davidson at 3. That was my personal list. To me, 5 tool players and 5 tool potential, obviously. And where it gets a little, for the differentiating factor for me was, I feel like Bo is probably a little bit more polished of a prospect. I think he's got a slightly better hit tool, but I do feel like as far as like raw tools go, power, defense, arm, speed, I feel like Dakota is just a tick higher on all of those. Like, I think they're both 5 tool potential, but I just feel like Dakota's got like one like little extra gear on that. And if he hits, and so I basically turned it into if they both hit their ceilings, who do I think is the better prospect? And that's how I settled on Dakota. Now, that said, just because, age at level, what level they're at, performance at level, et cetera, all those things do matter. If Bo Davidson just got promoted to AA, which, for anybody wondering, we were speculating that before it happened the other day. But Bo Davidson did get promoted to AA. If Bo shows up to AA for the last 8.5 weeks of this season and just tears the cover off the ball, I think you kind of would have to slot him in at number 2 until Dakota proves it in the higher levels. So like it gets a little, you have to balance it all.
That's fair. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So number 3, this is where it got a little bit, we had a little bit of, I think this was probably the one we disagreed on the most, but not by a ton, just in the order, was number 3 ended up being Carson Whisenhunt. He's 24 years old, AAA. He's thrown 94 innings this season, 4.5 ERA, 1.33 whip, 7.85 Ks per 9. They've actually dropped quite a bit this season. 2.68 walks per 9. He's almost cut that in half. He's down like 2 walks per 9 on the year compared to 2024. 1.15 home run per 9, a little higher than you probably want it. That's probably a little bit due to his fastball command. And ground ball rate, a couple things I highlighted with him. His ground ball rate went from 38% to 44%, so it's up a little bit. And then he still has a pretty extreme home road split, which obviously the PCL, Sacramento is one of the more friendly environments for pitchers, even though it's not pitcher friendly. But he's got a 3.09 ERA at home, 5.89 on the road. Mm-hmm. So just something to monitor, especially as they get to whenever he does get to the majors. A lot of the parks are more friendly than he pitched in the PCL. So that was another one I wanted to keep an eye on. Now, everyone keep in mind, this is still like the order of these players isn't necessarily directly related to how they're performing this season.
Yeah.
So some of these guys like Whisenhunt has a little bit of a track record.
Yeah, and I think for some of these guys we don't need to each chime in about, but like you mentioned, Wiz has the track record, former top 100 prospect, nasty changeup. Probably going to make his debut this year. I think he was unquestionably going to be in the top 5 in general for all of us, and he ended up being in there. Obviously, you'd want to get that, pitch selection to kind of mix it up a little bit, but he by far has the best changeup out of all, pitchers in the minors, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, you guys can chime in a little bit. I believe I had Wiz at my number 3, but for those reasons described.
Yeah, Ricky, did you have him number 2?
Yes.
I think Ricky was the one that had him at 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a guy I still believe if he ends up appearing in the majors this season, we'll really see some of his numbers turn around. He's really gotten snake bit by the home run ball in the last 2 months. Obviously, some of that is because of these hitter-friendly yards that he's playing in. The other thing that really is unfortunate that we've seen over the last 2 months as well is his commands dipped a little bit. The very beginning of the season, it was really encouraging because you saw his strikeout numbers were really good. He was going deep into games, and he was barely walking anybody. As they've started to move into some of these more hitter-friendly yards like Salt Lake City, they played a ton at over the last month and a half. Just ask Marco Luciano how that's been going. Yeah, they've been playing it a lot at some of those yards, and I feel like that's really affected him with the home run ball. But you've also seen his walk numbers go up a lot. You see a lot of starts in June and late May where he's had 3 or 4 walks per start. That definitely needs to come down. And it really makes me wonder if there's any chance at all that we just might see him in a role out of the pen late in the season and just let him go out there and simplify things a little bit, not have to worry about going through a lineup multiple times and just kind of letting him showcase himself a little bit and see what they have going into next season. Just from the standpoint of seeing him at the major league level in a much more pitcher-friendly yard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that was the logic for me as to just bumping him down. And it wasn't really that I think he's not a great prospect or anything. I just put the other 2 guys ahead of them. The fastball command has been the struggle for me. I too many times I see his fastball sitting around 91, 92, and he's struggling to get it in a corner or down in the zone. And it's he'll be throwing a gem, and then all of a sudden he'll give up 2 home runs in the 5th or 6th or something like that, where he just leaves them out over the heart of the plate. And it's these guys are not going to miss that pitch. So yeah. I do think he either needs to tweak the movement on it, or it might just come down to command, frankly, with that. We'll jump over to number 4. We got Joshua Gonzalez. That was obviously the prize international free agent signing. Was kind of the consensus number 1 for the longest time until Roki Sasaki posted. He's 17. He's down in the Dominican Summer League right now. The numbers aren't going to jump off the page. 246, 701 OPS. He doesn't have a home run yet. 9 extra base hits. 20 stolen bases, though. 98 WRC plus. Again, I mean, it's the Dominican League. As long as they don't go and just fall completely on their face, you're not too concerned. The most encouraging thing for me is the numbers don't jump out, and yet they had, I think it might have been Baseball America, they had a bunch of scouts go out there, and they were talking about him, and all the scouts, they were asking scouts who's standing out, and most of them were this guy's a freak. He's so they have so much confidence that he's going to stick at shortstop with his glove. They talked about his ability to get on base, wreak havoc when he gets on base, all these good things. So super high on him. I get why he gets comps to guys like Jose Reyes. We just got to hope that he hits that potential because he could be special.
Oh, scouts are raving on him. And
yeah.
he's showing just a bunch of his tools. I mean, especially the speed. You see him get out of the box and hustle first. Like, my goodness, dude's quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a lot of potential, man. So I'm hyped to see, what's to come for him. I just want to see him in San Jose sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Maybe end of next year.
Yeah.
And I think Roger Munter pointed out that he had a 109 mile per hour exit velocity.
Yeah.
At 17.
17. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
He's got some juice in that bat. So pretty crazy. Addy, you know what? I forgot to write his down. I wrote like everybody's down, and he's the one I forgot. I
It's
think
been like 1-to-1. He's basically walking at the exact same clip as he's striking out right now. And something to keep in mind, Cody kind of just was alluding to this a minute ago, but the DSL, it's a little bit tough to gauge because the pitching is pretty wild down there. If anybody hasn't watched a really good interview to kind of understand how the DSL works would be that Kyle Haynes interview with Glenn Kuiper. He kind of discusses it and compares the DSL kind of like almost like high school baseball, like higher level high school baseball, and then the ACL more to like college baseball, because these are kids playing at those levels that really didn't get much of either. Down in the Dominican, they don't play high school baseball. This is basically their high school baseball. So there's a lot of development going on there. There's a lot of command issues from the pitching side down there. You don't see a ton of polished pitchers. So you're going to want to look at his numbers a lot more once he gets over to the complex league and gets a little bit more advanced pitching, a lot better command, a lot more pitches you can do damage with in general. So that's just something to look out for next season.
Yeah,
for sure. We're gonna be kind of going in detail on like a couple more players, and then once we get down, there'll be a point where it'll be kind of a bit more brief. Next, we had Bo Davidson, obviously outfield. We already talked about him quite a bit. 5'12" prospect, 23 years old, now in Double-A. He got the call up along with Scott Bandura and Jacob Christian. All were promoted a level. But this season, to this point, he was one of the best hitters in high A. 309 average, 919 OPS, 10 homers, 30 extra base hits, 12 stolen bases, 148 WRC plus. 22.1% strikeout rate, 14.6% walk rate.
I will say he just made the Flying Squirrels a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah. He and Bandura. I'm going to give Bandura his credit too. He's had
for sure,
phenomenal year. But that team is so much more watchable now. Actually excited. You guys want to add anything to that before I jump?
That was the biggest thing I wanted to add. We already touched on him.
Yeah,
he's a 5'2" beast, but just in general, he's going to make Richmond a lot more fun to watch.
If he hits for the next 8.5 weeks and they don't have him as a top 100 prospect, then somebody needs to like figure something out with any of these publishers.
And
that's all I'm going to say.
The three of us riot in New York.
Yeah, exactly. Number 6, like I said, I think I said this at the beginning, number 6 and number 7, we had this as unanimous for all of us. Number 6, we have Johnny Level. He was talked about as the number 1 prospect in the Arizona Complex League, which that says a ton because there are also a lot of other big time international prospects in that complex league right now.
Dude, he's so good.
And the funny thing with Johnny Level is anytime you're reading scouting report on him, they're like, yeah, none of the specific tools necessarily just jump out as this like insanely elite tool. And then they're like, but he just hits, he hits for average, he hits for power, he has speed, like he just does everything really, really good. But he's 18, he hit in 296, 892 OPS, 8 home runs, 22 extra base hits, 15 stolen bases, 15.5% strikeout rate with a 12.4% walk rate, 125 WRC plus. So
he's a beast.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping we can see him in San Jose at some point this year. That'd be awesome. Obviously you're a young player, but he's now 3rd in home runs in the complex league. He's 10th in RBIs down there. So for his size, he's showing off a ton of pop, and it's really exciting. love to see him hit in San Jose in that league. I think we could see the power numbers come up even a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Number 7, we had Gavin Kilen. Obviously that's their new draft pick. I can't put him any higher above these other guys until we actually see him play. He might, play his way higher than some of these names that are in front of him. But for now, he's 21. He'll likely be in San Jose here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll see him there quickly. But, we're not going to go too deep on that. If anybody wants to know our opinions on him, yes, there's some negativity on the Giants draft philosophy, but we did talk about Kilen as a player, and we do really like him as a player. So, but check out the live show from the other day.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up a comment from earlier. Addy said, where do you think the biggest drop off in between prospect rankings? Like, is our 6th ranked prospect miles better than our 7th? To me, as of right now, and this is no disrespect to guys like Bresnahan, Kayama, any of these other players, to me, the drop off hits between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Right now. Now, that said, Jacob Bresnahan has not been a slouch this year. He's only 20 years old in San Jose, 62 innings, 2.9 ERA, 1.13 whip, 11.76 Ks per 9, 4.06 walks per 9, 0.29 home runs per 9.
Jay Brezzi, another friend of the show, I should say. Super cool guy. Dude's dealing. Not gonna lie, he's been dealing. So I told these guys Brezzi was one of the rare great moves by Farhan Zaidi.
Great move. Got him for a broken Alex Cobb who hadn't thrown a single pitch.
Great move
for the Giants in 2020.
Started like 4 games, it felt like, for Cleveland last year.
I mean, absolute steal. But yeah, and it's funny because he's got all these great numbers, and it doesn't even do justice for how dominant he's been for like 2 months.
Just watch the tape, man.
He was horrible in April. Horrible. Yeah. Like, to the point where I was like, what? Like, I don't see it with him. And since then, he has been
flip the switch. Yeah.
Oh my God. Insane.
You know what his ERA was in the month of June?
Oh, let's hear it.
0.95.
My goodness, bro.
That's gross. And that's why he was player of the month.
Yeah,
in the Cal League. Dude's awesome. And then our Heinous Kayama, right-handed pitcher. He's 18 years old in the complex league. We might see him in San Jose. Another of these guys that we want to see move through the system. But 44 innings, 2.25 ERA, 1.09 whip, 11.05 Ks per 9, 3.68 walks per 9. He's given up 0 home runs in the complex league so far this season. Mid-90, for those of you, a lot of you probably haven't been able to watch him yet, especially in the complex league. Mid-90s sinker, kind of the gyro slider, has a changeup. That's kind of his pitch mix. He's been just dominant, and he's already pumping mid-90s as an 18-year-old. That could go up in the next year or two. So, yeah. And then for me, there's a little bit of a drop off between 9 and below. I feel like 8 and 9 are kind of in a small dip down, and then the next drop off is kind of between 9 and 10. But Diego, he's obviously one of our favorite prospects here. You guys have been aware of that. One of our most underrated, I think. He's 21 in AA, 273 average, 710 OPS, has 16 extra base hits, 13 stolen bases. Calling card is bat to ball skills, 15.5% walk rate, 15.5% strikeout, 13% walk, 117 WRC plus.
Diego. Yeah, we like him.
Yeah, for sure. Joe Whitman, we had at number 11. He's in AA, 23, 71 and 2/3 innings, 5.15 ERA, 1.42 whip, 9.8 K per 9, 3.64 walks per 9, 1.17 home runs per 9. He's been struggling this year a bit. For sure. Very much a roller coaster pitcher. He'll throw you 6 perfect innings and strike out 10, and then throw 7, striking out 11, and then he gets just lit up for a month.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the higher ceiling guys in the system, but it gets a little shaky, it's to the point where he might have to spend another year at that level next year and really kind of refine some things. But this is definitely where it gets to be a real mixed bag in the system. You know, Diego is like literally the opposite of Whitman in terms of a prospect. You have Diego, who's an extremely consistent high floor guy. And then you have Whitman, who's the exact opposite, just very low floor, high ceiling.
Yeah.
And then it kind of continues the same path over the next 5 or so guys as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to touch on the next one, but if you're still on Whitman, go for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all I was going to say is just that I feel like the top 9 are pretty well set and like who belongs up there. I feel like anything below that, it's just all subjective and personal preference, you know, at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you want to take Carlos?
No, I was just going to say, when it comes to ceilings in particular, like you were touching on, Carlos's hit tool, I mean, the ceiling there it's sky high. He's got, you know, lots of tools in his bag there. So no, I just wanted to point that out. I'll let you guys elaborate a little bit more, but I'm a big fan of his hit tool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so just to briefly touch on that, Carlos, he's 20 in A-ball. He's hitting 351. Exactly. That is not a typo. He's hitting 351 this season with an 897 OPS, 2 homers, 17 extra base hits. He has 26 stolen bases, 13.7% K rate, 12.6 walk rate. He's almost walking as much as he strikes out, 152 WRC plus. And I'm going to just put out the speculation. I was hoping Dakota Jordan would be the one that gets promoted. When you notice 2 guys got moved from Eugene to Richmond and only one went up to Eugene, and Jacob Christian. So my speculation is that when Carlos Gutierrez is healthy, because he's been dealing with a back injury, which I think Ricky's got an update on that one, but he's been dealing with a back injury. I think when he returns, he's going to go to Eugene.
Yeah. So. Yeah. He's expecting to be playing in the Arizona Complex League starting tomorrow, spend tomorrow and Saturday there. And then they're going to kind of go from there. Shouldn't be too much longer. And then, like Cody said, might be straight to Eugene from there. Otherwise, I feel like Dakota would have already been bumped up if it was going to be him. Mm-hmm. I feel like we might see Dakota spend a couple more weeks, and then we might kind of see some of last year's draft class, like, you know, guys like Dakota, Hipwell, Xander. I think that wave of guys might start to make their way up to Eugene as we get a lot more of the draftees from this year in San Jose. Also, by the way, our draft picks are all pretty much in Scottsdale right now.
Nice.
So they will start getting to work here pretty soon.
Good. We'll just hop right over to number 13, Trent Harris. He's in AAA, 26 years old. He is an older prospect, 29 in the 3rd innings. He's got a 5.2 ERA. That has almost all been in AAA. He dominated AA. He's struggled a bit since then. He had a great game in the Futures game, though, last week. Like I said, this is just body of work. I'm still a huge believer in him as a high leverage reliever arm, potentially. But he is striking almost 13 per 9. The walks per 9 have gone up a bit in AAA, but he was pretty low. While in AA, it's at 3.98 and 0.61 home runs per 9.
Yeah, the 3 of us are really high on him in the preseason, and I think it's kind of translated over. A lot of us projected that he might, you know, make an appearance on the big league team at the end of this year. I still think it might be possible come September. See how the season plays out. But yeah, we're big on Trent Harris.
Yeah. Number 14, we had Grant McCray, 24 in AAA. He said, and I'm just going to rip through the numbers. We've all gone into excruciating detail on him. But he's hitting 269, 789 OPS, 13 homers, 34 extra base hits, 26 stolen bases, 10.6% walk rate, 27.2 K, 104 WRC plus. So, the extra base hit and speed and stolen base combo is insane with him.
Yeah.
So, and then friend of the show, number 15, Jacob Christian. He also got the promotion to High A Eugene. He's 22. He's hitting 272, 815 OPS, 10 home runs, 30 extra base hits, 12 stolen bases, sneaky, decent on the base paths for a big guy. 10.1% walk rate, 28.3% K rate, 121 WRC plus.
Great player, even better person.
Yeah.
Super good guy, man. I sent him a message once. He got the promotion. He was super hyped and appreciative of us. So yeah, could be happy for him. Hopefully he keeps it going because he absolutely mashed in San Jose.
And now he's up near me.
Now he's all yours, Cody.
I might not be able to get there this season, but I have to imagine he'll probably be there at least at the start of next season. So I may end up having to wait till then, but I'll definitely be trying to catch JC at a game one of these days.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Kind of like Dakota, Jacob actually is right at the top of the RBI leaderboard in the California League where the San Jose Giants play. He is second in that league, right behind Dakota. Dakota is at 70, I believe. I think Jacob's right at 60. So very good pace for him, too. I know one of his personal goals was getting up to 100 RBIs. If he goes on a nice little run, we might see him get there in Eugene, but looking forward to seeing him up there. I think main thing for him is just honestly bring down that K rate just a tiny bit and continue at the pace he's at with his power. And I think he'll continue to climb up the prospect rankings.
And the thing is, he even acknowledges things like that. Like he told us that straight up when we were chatting up with him pregame. He's like, I got to bring that K rate down. So that's one of the cool things about him, just with his work ethic in general. He recognizes, little faults in his game and he addresses those consistently. So I think that's the reason why you see such numbers like you're seeing so far this year, just because he's consistently work on his craft.
He's a guy that I think is going to take a big year to jump.
I agree.
Like that's where I think you're going to see it with him. Same with Dakota. I think they're both, and he's been crazy. Like I feel like a couple of those guys are going to take big jumps in year two. And then now kind of the breakout guy of 2025, I think. I don't even know if it's really disputable. Like as great as like some of these young guys have been, like just somebody that's come out of almost nowhere.
Bandura.
Scott Bandura, he wasn't bad by any stretch the first year and a half or so that he was in the system. He's a 2023 7th round pick. Did all right in San Jose, was okay in high A, didn't really like stand out though. And I think he's grabbed every Giants fan's attention this season in a level where he's been competing for, as far as like who the best hitter is at that level and best player with guys like Bo Davidson and James Tibbs for a long time. And he's been just arguably almost every bit as good as all those guys. So, but Scott Bandura on the year, he's hitting 307. He's 23 in Double-A. He's hitting 307, 838 OPS, 7 home runs, 25 extra base hits, 30 stolen bases. I think he's 30 stolen bases he's at a 90% success clip. He's one of like 4 guys in the system with that. 11.8% walk rate, 24.1% strikeout, 132 WRC plus, and a very good defender.
Very good.
Yeah, with him, the thing is you're not going to see crazy power out of him, but I think the hugest takeaway for me is he's way upped his walks. He's almost at a 400 on base this season. So that's been really nice to see. And then, like you said, the extra bases, 7 home runs is a nice surprise already because he's still got a long ways to go. So he might honestly be he could almost triple his home run total from last season with the pace he's on right now. And then you add in 3 triples, which already matches last season's total. And then he's already only 1 double away from where he was last season as well. So he's far exceeding what he did last year between San Jose and Eugene. So he's another guy that's totally on the rise and just kind of went way under the radar because of really the power output the last year and a half.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think there would be some valid concerns as far as like power translating in Oracle. A lot of his home runs they do come to center field and right center. He doesn't just like spin on balls and hit just nukes to right field or anything like that. But that said, tons of tons of line drives in his game. He'll use the full field, and he does hit the ball hard and like split the gaps. And he's got great speed. Like the fit, that to me makes him a better fit for Oracle. It's like, I don't want this guy out there trying to hit homers. I want this guy getting on base and hitting a crap load of doubles and triples, doing what we want Lee to do, basically.
For sure.
So, number 17 prospect. This is where I think a lot of people have viewed this as a disappointing pick to this point. But we've all kind of liked what we've seen as far as growth from year 1 to year 2 from him. And I think we all have to remember he is only 21 years old, and that's Walker Martin, who down in San Jose, it's only 236, 762 OPS, but he does also have 10 home runs, 24 extra base hits, 7 stolen bases, 13.5% walk rate, 28.1% K rate, 112 WRC plus. The K rate is down like 11% or 13% from last season to this season. And it's been dropping. So I do think it's going to continue to improve.
Yeah. Down to 28%. And I'm really looking for a big second half out of him. He went on that massive freaking home run hitting tear, by far the biggest home run hitting tear out of anybody in the Giants organization, big leagues included. So if we see him go on another run like that, he should have no problem getting right around 18 to 20 home runs this season, which would be a massive development for him. Just for a guy who kind of got off to a slow start. I mean, he was coming out of high school as a little bit older of a prospect. He didn't get any pro games in that year he was drafted. So he did get a little bit later start than everybody else. And, you know, like is always going to be the case with a lot of these high school kids, they're going to make adjustments to his swing. And it's going to take time for guys to really mature and get comfortable making those adjustments. But, you know, with the San Jose Giants being one of the more exciting watches in the organization this year, I've watched a ton of games, and he has come up super clutch for them on numerous occasions, bringing in big hits time and time again. So I'm really excited about his potential. You know, he's honestly putting up pretty close to similar numbers to some of these guys that are a year or two older than him. So they might just give him the rest of the season down in San Jose and just, you know, let him break and let him get on a nice heater going into the end of the season, and then just throw him up in Eugene to start next season and see where he takes off. But I think this season's been a really nice development for him because his pro career got off to a really bad start.
Yeah, big time. Number 18, we had Jack Choate. He's in Double A. He's 24 years old, 69 innings pitched, 3.91 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, 10.83 K per 9, 4.96 walks per 9, 1.3 home runs per 9. For him, it's all command. That's been the big thing. But big time, his fastball, it's only like 94, very Bumgarner-esque. With kind of the lower arm angle, lots of carry on his fastball, gets a lot of swing and miss at the top of the zone, has kind of that big loopy, if you want to call it a sweeper, curveball, whatever you want to call it. But he throws that kind of big loopy sweeper slurve that from that arm angle is pretty effective. And it's just command though. I mean, he just falls behind too many hitters, but I do like the upside of the arm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was one of those ones that Roger mentioned when we had him on, and it was kind of funny because he's like, he strikes out a ton of guys, and I have no clue how. But Choate's one of those guys. I mean, he's not a guy you project to be at the front of the rotation in the future, but he could be a nice depth piece on the back end of your rotation. I mean, he's done pretty damn well at every level. He's another guy I fully expect to see at the enrichment at the start of next season, and just kind of let him ride it out there for a little bit while some of the lower level arms catch up, because you're kind of getting to a point where you have a lot of guys clogging up the complex league, San Jose, and then soon to be Eugene as well.
Number 19, we had Jerome Maldonado, A-ball 21, 39 in a third innings pitch. I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to develop him as a starter or reliever at this point. Like they're having him start games, but limiting him to 2 or 3 innings. But highly explosive arm. 3.43 ERA, 1.55 WHIP, 10.3 K to 9 or K per 9, 5.95 walks per 9, but 0.23 home runs per 9. He walks a bunch of dudes, doesn't give up a lot of high hits or hard contact, but he also strikes out a bunch of dudes. But triple digits fastball, big time kind of wipeout slider. We'll see if they can develop that arm.
Ricky and I saw him in person. We saw him pitch. He started the game we went to. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. With him, I do think they plan on keeping him as a starting pitcher. His stuff is really good. I don't see any reason why they would cap his ceiling. It's just he had a really significant elbow injury that he had surgery on, and they're just really playing it slow with him. And I think they're going to kind of just keep him on that workload the rest of the season. And then he's a guy I would see starting Eugene next season. And then really kind of starting to work him into like that 5-6 inning range, like you're starting to see with guys like Ferrone and Rodemaker and those guys up there. So
yeah, for sure. And then rounding out our list, our top 20, we had Robert Hipwell down in San Jose. He's 22. He was their 6th round pick last season. He's hitting 245. Now, everybody, if you want to have some fun, go look at his numbers at the end of April. And then look at where he's at now. But he's hitting 245, 864 OPS, 9 homers, 28 extra base hits, 137 WRC plus, 16.4 walk percentage, 29.8% K rate. He's been a bit of a 3 outcome hitter down in San Jose, but he barrels the ball. He gets on base and he barrels the ball. And, we'll see if he develops the hit tool farther. But, right now he's been very productive and very solid and felt like he deserved a spot.
He's another friend of the show. But aside from that, I mean, dude's a unit. He's built. Like when me and Ricky met him. And he's got solid tools. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully he takes a nice step forward and continues to grow. But the potential's there for sure.
Yeah. And when he talked to you guys, I remember he kind of like Jacob Christian. He knows he needs to get the strikeout rate down, but he was like, I'm just trying to barrel the ball, put it in play, and get on base and keep doing my thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's a guy. It's like you mentioned, Cody. It's kind of funny looking at his numbers. April, he slugged 267, but then from there slugged 500 in May, 579 in June, and 704 in July. So he has been red hot for most of the season. It's just his average was so low. It's been a very slow. Yeah, 133 in April. So it's been a real slow climb up from there. But he has gotten the average up, and he's a guy that you will see hit for a lot of doubles too. I definitely remember watching him in April, and even when he was struggling, I was like, man, he's just barely missing a couple of home runs. He still had 4 doubles in the first month of the season, and I remember 2 or 3 of those were like right off the top of the wall in right field. And I mean, you could be looking at him completely different if you tacked on 2 or 3 more home runs. He'd be leading the team. Yeah. So he's a guy I like a lot, and I think he's kind of like Jacob and what you're saying earlier, where I think we see a big rise out of him next season, because this is just his first full pro season now. So
yeah, absolutely.
We love doubles too, Jenny.
We too. But yeah. So everyone, that's the list. We're going to do this probably again in the off season. I don't know. We might do it like right before the season starts next season. We'll figure that out, but we'll do it again sometime in the off season or right before the season. And, we like to just update this about every, 6 months or so. So we'll definitely do that. But that was the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. You'll have to let us know in the comments where you think we're missing the mark, or if you had people that you liked more than others. But Yeah, that was just our take.
I think we did pretty good.
I think it's better than ESPN's list.
Oh, for sure. That was a
Oh,
joke,
man.
dude.
It's atrocious.